Welcome to the official podcast series by POTENZA, where innovation meets insight. In this series, we dive deep into the world of SAP, explore the power of robotic process automation, and unlock the true potential of data analytics. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just curious about the digital transformation shaping our world, you're in the right place. Tune in, stay curious, and let's explore the future of enterprise technology together. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube for more powerful insights. Now, let's get into today's episode.
You know that feeling when you're trying to really get your head around something important, cut through all the noise, and just pull out the key info you need without getting totally lost.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for anyone trying to stay informed.
Well, today we're trying to tackle that head on. We're doing a deep dive into something that's, well, becoming pretty essential for doing more with less. Process automation.
Exactly. We've been looking at this really insightful blog post all about process automation. And our mission today really is to get to the core of it. What is it? How is it changing the way businesses actually work day to day?
Okay.
And importantly, what are the key things you need to think about if you're considering using it?
Okay, let's unpack that. Process automation. So basically, it's using tech to handle those routine manual jobs, the workflows that just eat up time.
Right. Think about all that repetitive stuff, sending the same kind of emails over and over, processing stacks of invoices, moving data from here to there. They're necessary tasks, sure, but they don't often add, huge strategic value.
And a key point here, I think, is that the goal isn't about replacing people, is it? It's more about freeing us up.
Exactly. Freeing people up to focus on the creative stuff, the analysis, the strategy,
Right.
the work that actually drives things forward.
Right, because those little manual tasks, they might seem small individually.
But add them all up, and it's a huge drain. We're talking lost hours, definitely. And human error that always creeps in with repetitive work.
Yeah, inevitably.
And it just slows down growth, innovation. The blog post we looked at really nails some key benefits. You see this big jump in efficiency because you're automating manual work. Things get turned around much faster,
Okay.
which then boosts productivity, right? Teams can actually focus on the bigger picture, the strategic stuff.
And costs.
Reduce costs, absolutely. You're using resources smarter. Plus, you get better accuracy, better compliance because processes become standardized, and it helps you scale up.
So it's not just one thing called automation.
Right.
The blog breaks it down into different types depending on what you need.
That's right. Different approaches for different goals.
Let's start with robotic process automation, RPA. Now, when I hear robotic, I think, actual robots on an assembly line. But that's not it here.
No, that's a great point. It's software bots. Think of them like digital workers who can mimic what a human does on a computer.
Like clicking, typing.
Clicking, copying, pasting, filling out forms, moving files. All across different digital systems, they follow preset rules.
Rules-based.
Exactly. Very structured, rules-based tasks. That's its sweet spot.
Okay, so give us some examples. Where would you actually see RPA working?
Well, the blog mentions things like processing lots of invoices, like you said, or handling all the steps for onboarding a new employee.
Oh, yeah, that can be complex.
Definitely. Or moving large amounts of data between systems, data migration. The big advantage is speed and consistency. It just doesn't get tired or make typos.
Right.
So it's huge in areas like finance, HR, customer service, anywhere you have those high-volume routine tasks.
And there was a case study.
Yeah, a global retailer. They used RPA, according to the blog, to handle something like 40% of their customer service inquiries automatically.
30%, wow.
Yeah. And the impact wasn't just saving money. It meant their human agents could handle the really tricky customer issues, the sensitive ones. So faster responses overall and happier customers.
Okay, so RPA handles the clear-cut, structured stuff.
Yeah.
But what about when things are a bit more messy? Unstructured data, maybe needing some judgment. That's where intelligent process automation comes in, IPA.
Exactly right. IPA takes RPA and kind of supercharges it. It adds things like artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML.
So it can handle things that aren't just simple rules.
Precisely. It can deal with unstructured data. Think about reading the actual text in an email or understanding clauses in a contract.
Okay.
And crucially, it can learn from data patterns and even make decisions based on what it learns in real time.
That sounds like a pretty big leap. Can you give an example?
Yeah, sure. Imagine a system that reads thousands of incoming customer emails. It understands the content, the sentiment.
Like if someone's angry.
Yeah, exactly. And it routes the urgent ones straight to the right team. Or think about AI analyzing contracts to flag potential risks.
Right.
IPA is strong with natural language understanding, predicting things based on data, and handling exceptions smartly. When something doesn't fit the normal pattern, it figures out what to do.
So RPA is about doing things faster, IPA is about doing them smarter, moving towards optimization, not just efficiency.
You've got it. It's a shift towards optimization. And the blog mentions a case study with DFCC Bank, where Potenza is actually using AI and ML to optimize really complex processes, moving towards something called hyperautomation.
Okay, hyperautomation. We'll come
Yeah.
back to that. But first, the blog also mentioned low-code and no-code platforms. This sounds like it's about making automation easier for more people to actually use.
Yeah, this is a really important trend. It's about democratizing automation. Low-code platforms let you build workflows using visual tools with very little actual coding needed.
And no code.
No code goes even further. It's often just drag and drop. People with literally no programming background can build quite sophisticated automations.
So you don't need to be a developer to automate things anymore.
Not for everything, no. It empowers people in the business units, the ones who really know the processes inside out, to actually build solutions for their own pain points. They don't have to wait for IT for every little thing.
That makes a lot of sense. Putting the power in the hands of the people who feel the friction. There was an example, HBSI.
Yes. Potenza built a low-code solution for them. They had this manual process for tracking sales commissions across, I think, 300 stores.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds tedious.
Exactly. The low-code app automated that, made it way more accurate and much more efficient.
Okay, so we have RPA for rules, IPA for intelligence, low-code, no-code for accessibility. Then there's this term you mentioned, hyperautomation. That sounds big.
It is big. Hyperautomation is really about orchestrating multiple technologies together. So RPA, AI, ML, data automation tools, the whole toolkit.
Not just one technology, but combining them.
Yes, combining them strategically to automate and optimize entire end-to-end business processes, not just single tasks. Gartner actually calls it a key pillar of digital transformation.
Okay, so the benefits would be more than just adding up the parts.
Definitely. You're looking at optimizing whole workflows, making decisions based on real-time data across the business, and being able to scale automatically. It's about seeing the bigger picture, connecting the dots in new ways.
Moving beyond just fixing steps to rethinking the whole journey. The blog also quickly mentioned data automation and task automation. How do they fit in?
Well, data automation is kind of foundational. It's about automatically getting data, checking it for accuracy validation, and delivering it where it needs to go. Reliable data is crucial for any automation.
Right, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. And task automation is often like a component within a bigger process. It focuses on automating one specific single task.
Like one step in a workflow.
Yeah. The blog used the NDB Bank example, using RPA for the task of reviewing their loan portfolio each month. That specific task became much more efficient. So task automation is often a building block for larger process automation or even hyperautomation.
Got it. Now, just having the tech isn't enough, right?
Yeah.
The blog stressed some other key components for making an automation strategy actually work.
Absolutely. It's about aligning everything, the people, the tech, and the processes themselves. Workflow automation is key here, designing how tasks flow smoothly between different systems, different people.
Like the loan application example you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. From submission to checks to approval to documents, that whole flow needs to be designed and automated. And then there's data integration. You can't automate effectively if your data is stuck in silos.
ERPs, CRMs, spreadsheets, all separate.
Right. You need to connect them so the automation has the right information. That's where data automation really helps ensure accuracy and availability across everything.
What about making sure the automation follows the rules? Company policies, regulations.
That's the job of a business rules engine. Think of it like coding the company's policies directly into the automated process.
Like if this, then that.
Pretty much. If customer is gold tier, then apply 10% discount. It builds consistency and compliance right into the workflow automatically.
Okay, and how do you know if it's actually working? If you're getting the benefits you expected?
Good question. Analytics and reporting are crucial. You need to track key performance indicators, KPIs.
Like task completion time, error rates.
Exactly. Time saved, errors reduced, costs lowered. These metrics show you what's working, where the bottlenecks might be, and help you refine things. The blog mentioned HNB Bank automating equity settlements.
Yes, with RPA and real-time reporting.
Right, and they got to a point of zero manual oversight because the reporting showed it was so accurate and efficient.
And what about the people actually using these systems? If it's clunky or confusing?
Adoption will suffer, definitely. The user interface, the UI, and the overall user experience are critical, especially for non-technical folks.
It needs to be intuitive.
Yes, clear dashboards, easy controls, maybe integration with tools they already use. Some platforms even use AI to suggest improvements or help users build simple automations themselves.
It makes sense. And underlying all of this, security and compliance must be huge.
Non-negotiable. Security has to be built in from the start. Access controls, encryption, audit logs to track everything.
And compliance. GDPR, HEPA.
Absolutely. Depending on the industry, you need to ensure the automation adheres to all relevant regulations. It protects data and builds trust in the system.
Okay, the blog then gave some really concrete examples across different industries. Let's touch on those. Healthcare first.
Yeah, in healthcare, a lot of focus is on streamlining admin tasks to free up time for patient care. Things like managing records, scheduling, claims processing.
Reducing paperwork, basically.
Exactly. It improves accuracy, speeds things up, and helps with compliance, too, which is obviously massive in healthcare.
And finance and banking. Accuracy and compliance are paramount there, too.
Absolutely. So you see a lot of task automation for things like account reconciliation, KYC checks, know your customer loan processing. AI is also big for fraud detection. And data automation is key for all the regulatory reporting they have to do.
Okay, manufacturing. That seems complex. Lots of moving parts.
It is. Automation there connects procurement, production, distribution. Machine learning might be used to predict supply chain delays.
Oh, interesting. Proactive.
Yeah. And process optimization helps find bottlenecks, improve quality control. The blog mentioned GTN Sri Lanka using RPA for financial reconciliations, cutting errors, and cycle time.
And finally, retail. Customer experience is key there.
Right. So automation helps improve customer service, manage inventory better, streamline point of sale. Low-code tools might be used in stores for local needs.
Consolidating data for insights.
Exactly. And using AI for personalized promotions. We already mentioned HBSI automating sales commissions and cutting payroll processing time significantly.
Yeah, those are examples.
Shows real impact in retail.
Okay, the blog also listed some popular tools. If someone's listening and thinking, okay, where do I start looking?
Yeah, it mentioned some of the big players. Automation. Anywhere. UiPath, Microsoft Power Automate.
Zapier and Make.com too, for simpler stuff.
Right, for integrations. And Blue Prism for more enterprise-level RPA. It also noted that POTENZA, who wrote the blog, helps companies figure out which tools fit best.
Good to know. So if someone's ready to actually start implementing this, what are the best practices? How do you do it right?
The blog had some great practical tips. First, start small. Pick a process that's high impact where you can get a relatively quick win.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Exactly. And involve the end users, the people doing the job now, right from the beginning. Their input is vital for making it work and getting buy-in.
Makes sense.
Make sure it integrates with your existing systems, monitor performance with those KPIs we talked about, and be ready to tweak things. And focus on optimizing the process, not just automating a bad one.
Right. Don't just pave the cow path.
Precisely. There was a great Potenza pro tip about doing a process audit before automating. They had a client save like 30% on setup time just by mapping things out properly first.
That's significant. But it's not always smooth sailing, is it? What are the common roadblocks?
No, definitely challenges. Resistance to change is a big one. People might worry about their jobs or just dislike new ways of working.
Understandable.
Trying to make the first project too complex is another pitfall. Poor documentation of how things work now makes automation harder. And, as we said, overlooking security or compliance is a major risk.
Okay, looking forward then. What's next for process automation? It feels like it's evolving really fast.
It really is. We're moving beyond just basic task automation towards more intelligent systems.
Yeah.
Systems that can learn, adapt, maybe even make decisions.
AI and ML becoming more central.
Absolutely. They allow systems to understand complex stuff, see patterns, and improve over time. It's shifting towards intelligent decision support, not just task execution.
And how does this tie into broader digital transformation efforts?
It's essential, really. Automation is like the glue for digital transformation. Whether you're moving to the cloud, using more analytics, enabling remote work, automation streamlines the core processes that make it all possible.
Makes things more agile, more responsive.
Exactly. The blog had that example of the logistics firm POTENZA worked with. They tripled transaction capacity with no extra staff, purely through automation as part of their digital strategy.
Wow. So what specific trends should we watch out for?
Well, hyperautomation, definitely that orchestrated approach using multiple technologies. Citizen development is another big one, more non-IT people building automations with low code, no code.
Empowering more people.
Right. Predictive automation systems anticipating what needs to happen next. And even self-healing workflows, systems that can detect and fix errors automatically.
Self-healing. That sounds very futuristic.
It's coming. It all points towards optimizing entire business ecosystems, not just isolated processes.
But with all this power comes risk, right? How do organizations manage that?
Good point. The blog outlines some key risks and how to handle them, like over-reliance on tools. Mitigation is good training and documentation. Data security. Strong governance frameworks are needed.
Automating a bad process.
Addressed by doing that process audit first. Resistance to change. That needs communication, engaging stakeholders, showing the benefits clearly.
Okay, finally, the blog wraps up with some FAQs, frequently asked questions. Maybe we can quickly run through those as a recap.
Yeah, good idea. So first, what is BPA? Business process automation. Basically using tech for those repetitive rules-based tasks to boost efficiency, accuracy, cut costs, ensure compliance, and free people up.
Okay. And how does it benefit businesses?
Faster workflows, better data accuracy, higher productivity, lower cost, better compliance, and letting people focus on more strategic work.
Common applications. Where is it used most?
Lots of places. Invoice processing, payments, employee onboarding, offboarding, generating reports, handling data, routing customer support tickets, loan processing, reconciliations.
Right. How does it improve efficiency specifically?
By cutting out redundant steps, automating approvals, linking systems together, speeding up processing, using resources better, and making workflows more reliable.
And the types of tools again?
RPA, IPA, low-code, no-code, hyperautomation platforms, and specific data automation tools, a whole range.
Lastly, potential risks.
Yeah, mapping processes poorly, trying to automate too much or the wrong things, integration problems, employee resistance. But you mitigate those by starting smart, involving people, planning carefully.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, it feels like process automation isn't just about speed. It's a fundamental shift towards working smarter, faster, leaner, more strategically.
Exactly. It's moving beyond just ticking off tasks to really enabling better ways of working across the board.
So for you listening, as you think about your own work, your own challenges, where could these ideas apply? What are those tasks that maybe drain time or energy that could be better spent elsewhere? Something to consider.
And that leads to maybe a final thought for you to ponder. As this intelligent automation gets more advanced, more integrated, how does it really change the game? Not just for tasks, but for whole industries, for the future of how we work?
Yeah, that's a big question. Definitely something to think about.
For sure.
And if you are intrigued, if you want to explore how this could work for your organization, the experts at POTENZA who wrote the blog post we've been discussing, they're offering a free consultation.
That's right. You can reach out and start that conversation. Just send an email to rpa@onepotenza.com.
rpa@onepotenza.com. Definitely worth checking out if this has sparked some ideas.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Potenza podcast series, where we decode SAP, automate with RPA, and analyze with precision. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the technologies transforming tomorrow's enterprise. Got questions?